Hi, and welcome back to You Handled That Perfectly. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Carly.
We are moms, lifelong best friends, and entrepreneurs. And in case you haven't joined us before, we like to talk about the messy, beautiful, and often chaotic journey of balancing business, motherhood, and life.
Let's get into it. Today, we are talking about entrepreneurship when the kids go back to school. So, oftentimes, moms hear a lot when the kids go back to school, like, oh, what are you going to do with all your spare time now?
All that time.
So much spare time.
Even if your kids are going into full time school, so elementary school, you know that you generally don't have a lot of time from drop off to when you have to get in the pickup line, as that is usually not the time school gets out.
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes before.
But there is something I think too within women, moms, that happens when the kids go back to school where whether or not you have the time, you kind of get that itch.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I know that that happened with both of us. So we thought, what a better way to do a follow up to the back to school prep episode than to talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And maybe it's not so much of like the time and reclaiming your time, but reclaiming a little bit more of yourself because you're not dedicating 100% of yourself to the kids anymore. And now you can shift that focus a little bit when they're at school.
Yeah, it's a lot of reclaiming your identity.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not necessarily going to just take up all your hobbies during the day. I think that's what it is. It feels like you're building the new version of yourself, and that comes with the possibilities of having the time, whether that's a lot or not. And then the wheels just get turning, and I don't know, you feel like that powerful version of yourself that can do anything.
Yeah. I know for me, when my daughter went to kindergarten, halfway through her kindergarten year, I launched White Space Design.
Hmm.
And so this was a definite thing for me. It was like, oh, she's in school. I'm going to start my own thing.
Yeah.
Because of a lot of different reasons. One, that it allowed for flexibility and when I needed it, unlike the corporate job I had. And then the other is because, yeah, I was taking on something that was for me, that doing design work that I love and being able to do it on my own terms was a huge benefit. And the timing worked with her going back to school.
I just had another thought with what you were saying that we hadn't necessarily talked about before in relation to us starting our businesses, but it also seems related that for us, our girls were in kindergarten when we started our businesses. So let's say 5, 6 years, we were managing our families, and not that you weren't working a corporate job during that time. I was a stay-at-home mom. So it's like coming from different sides of the same coin. We then felt ready to manage our own time, I guess
Yeah.
is kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but it's so true. And I think a lot of moms get that. Whatever that itch is, that's
Yeah.
like, my time hasn't been my own, and now I have a little bit of that time back that can be my own, and I don't wanna spend it cleaning the house. So I'm gonna spend it doing something that maybe brings in a little income or gives me creative freedom or does both, which is the dream.
Well, and we always joke about, I didn't want to be working a 40-hour a week job for someone else, so I decided to go into business on my own, and now I work 180 hours a week. Like,
But it's for myself.
yeah, and you do, whether or not it allows for flexibility in the same way, it does allow for flexibility in terms of being able to pick your kids up from school if you need to, or to run out for a doctor's appointment. So it makes sense that that's where the mind goes, because when your kids go back to school, you also realize how little flexibility you actually have.
Yeah. Your time is not your own,
Yeah.
but you could have a couple hours during the week when
Y-
your time can be,
Yeah.
and you didn't have that before. You have to figure out how you're gonna spend that time.
Yeah.
And if you spend that time napping, good on you because I would love to do that
I
too.
know.
If you spend that time for yourself, don't think of it as selfish. We have to feed ourselves in different ways, and just because you're spending that time doing something quote unquote selfish, you're spending the whole rest of your day doing things for the family, for other people, for whatever reason it is. And so taking that time that you can take to yourself for yourself is benefiting everybody, whether you are looking at it that way right now or not. Changing that mindset that's like, nope, I'm doing this because my priority is my family and I'm part of my family and I need to prioritize myself to make everybody happy,
Mhm.
then do it.
I had that realization. I mean, I've had it a lot. I've had it. It's not like I just had it recently, but I had that realization again recently about how I really do have to carve out time during the day, which even as an entrepreneur for however many years is hard
Yeah.
I mean, we joked about me taking 2 hours to walk through a store one time or a
Yeah.
market. And it's like you get that tightness in your chest of like, "Oh, it's a weekday. It's
I have to
between
go
9 to
home.
5." Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I look at my day and it's 9 o'clock when I'm coming out of my kids' rooms some nights. Hopefully it's closer to 8, but life happens in summer right now when we're recording. And in order to not feel burnt out by that point of the evening, you have to prioritize yourself when you can.
Absolutely.
And whether you take on a passion as your business or whether you just take on something that you're good at that you can make money from, that's how you're prioritizing yourself.
Yeah. Or if you decide to go a different route, like an MLM, that's already an established business that you're buying into for a nominal amount, that already has marketing set up, can guide you, direct you, so that you're taking some of the thinking out of it. I know like MLMs sometimes get a bad rap,
Yeah.
but if you really think about it, they're master marketers. They're providing something that you're obviously somewhat interested in already
Mhm.
because there's so many of them. You can find something you're interested in to join. And really, the nominal cost for joining them, you would have in other business expenses anyway. You're just doing it under this. And it might be a good way to go to think about bringing in extra income without the huge leap of what entrepreneurship can be.
Yeah, I think there's a reason that so many moms do go that route, especially in the beginning,
Yeah.
because like you said, the back end stuff is kind of taken care of. You can dedicate a few hours here and there to it. It's sort of the best of both worlds. And like you said, not only would the nominal cost of getting into it be similar, if not less than business expenses that you would have as a business owner,
Yeah.
but also with the MLMs, it's a product that you use, obviously, and
Yeah.
you get a discount. So in a lot of cases, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, and it could be a good way to go and just kinda get your feet wet, see if entrepreneurship really is something that you're interested in too.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't like that. A
Yeah,
lot of people don't like not being told what to do during the day. Like if you are someone who likes getting work from your manager, then that's not going to be for you. Or even in the post COVID age, if you don't like working from home, that's not going to be for
right.
you. Like you said, it's a good way to get your feet wet without setting up your home office and going into full fledged business and then deciding, oh, I don't like this.
Turns out this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I want somebody to give me tasks every day,
Yeah, exactly.
which is fine. Honestly, we think so much about everything that if you can take one thing that you don't have to think about off your plate,
Yeah.
do it. So if it means working for somebody and them assigning you tasks and you getting your tasks done and getting paid for the job, do it.
Hmm.
If it means jumping into an MLM because you love the product, do it. It doesn't have to be a whole big thing that is now taking up all of your extra bandwidth that you don't have time for anything else.
One of the things that's been on my mind throughout when we've been talking in this episode is something that we were talking about earlier today, but that we also talked about on a recent episode. And that's how life is really in 5-year cycles. We were talking about that recently in terms of friendships. And I was thinking about that in terms of not that everyone changes jobs within 5 years, that's not what I mean at all, but when
They
you
say
think
you should.
do they?
They do.
Interesting.
Yeah, in less than 5 years, actually, like, every 2 to 3 is
Oh.
what they whoever they
Yeah,
researchers are,
yeah.
say that you should because oftentimes, once you're in a position, it's actually harder to advance within the company. It's easier to go to get a job at another company
To get that bump.
to get the bump in pay, the bump
Makes
in
sense.
title, whatever it is you're looking for. And a lot of times you just get stagnant after like 3 years. And
Yeah.
so they say that you should. So I think that a 5-year time at a company actually looks really good on a resume these days because people aren't spending that much time in one job anymore.
I was thinking of it in terms of being a mom and having so much change within that 5-year time frame of having a baby and having that kid go to school, that you probably aren't going to be the same working woman that you were throughout that 5 years if you were working or prior to having your kids if you were a stay-at-home mom. Also, I was thinking how much our interests change in that time, and it got me thinking about another thing that we've been talking about lately, and that's hobbies into jobs. I'd like to talk about that for a little bit too,
Yeah, do it.
because it's something that's been on my mind where when I really enjoy something as a hobby, I don't necessarily want to jump in to see how I can make that my job because I'm afraid I will lose the love for it. And I've talked to some people about that lately. I actually was talking to the woman who owns the yoga studio I go to, and she's fabulous. She's a teacher there. She has said it's different now that she owns the studio. Her friends would say, "Let's go grab a coffee and go to yoga." But to her, that's work now. It's not the same. So I find it interesting because they say do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But a lot of times, too, that could change the joy for you.
Yeah, it could. I think for me, I was able to take something that I love to do and turn it into a business.
Yeah.
It only increased the joy that I have for it and like the love that I have for design has only increased. And so for me taking this hobby that I didn't even realize I had from even from high school
Mhm.
or I never made the graphic design connection until I was in my late 20s, but I was always doing it.
Yeah.
So I was always the one to design our presentations for speeches or whatever it was, designing the signs for things, designing whatever. It was always me doing it, and
Mhm.
I because I loved it, and I never put it together that that was graphic design, and even through fashion school and through everything, through my undergrad, I was designing things without realizing that's what it was.
Right.
And so it wasn't really until I fell into a graphic design job that I was like, "Oh, here it is."
Yeah.
And falling even more in love with design and then building on that and turning it into something. So this was like something I didn't know was a hobby until later, maybe. But I think that it kind of depends on what it is for you. Going, grabbing a coffee and going to yoga is very different than owning a yoga studio.
Yeah.
And so I could see how that would change it. But I
Well,
don't know what I'm getting at.
you let me play devil's advocate for a minute because I know you. I know I would say like the only pain point I really see with you and your love of this is that because it's your business, not that you don't get to do enough of the designing, but like that's what you love. And with owning your business, that's not 100% of what you're doing.
True. Right, and
So,
so that's what I'm saying is different for the yoga the woman doing yoga is different than owning the studio because there's so much behind the scenes
right.
of owning something versus doing. And so for me, the other side of me though is a learner and a doer and has the business sense and entrepreneurial drive, that is something that also fills my cup, and
Yeah.
so it's a nice balance for me. And then the, like, extreme pain points of accounting,
You
I found
outsource.
somebody to help me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a balance between all of it, but grabbing a coffee and going to yoga is such an extreme difference than owning a yoga studio or even being a yoga teacher.
That's what I was literally just thinking was, if that's something that you're afraid to take on in terms of the owning sense, then maybe you teach to fulfill that love of it while making money from it. But a
Yeah.
lot of times it is all or nothing. Like, you either do have to go big and start your business 100%. And I loved what you said, because that's exactly it. You have an entrepreneurial spirit. And so even though you don't get to do design 100% of the time, you love the inner workings of your business.
Yeah.
And you've gotten to a place where you can outsource the things that you don't like. So it's a give and take.
Yeah. And it takes time to get there where you can outsource. For years, I did it
Yeah.
all by myself, and it took a while to get to where I was like, nope, I need help with this, and was able to outsource it. But, and then there's other things that come with it too that you don't even realize you're going to be doing with entrepreneurship. So I spend a lot of time in networking
Yeah.
groups and getting my name out. So I spend a lot of time doing these other things in order to build it that you don't realize how much of a time suck some of those could be when you
Yeah.
start. And it's all things you have to factor in. It's like, and it's a lot in your brain, a lot more to add to your brain. And now your kid's transitioning to kindergarten. Everything's shifting. Maybe now isn't exactly the right time to jump into something. Maybe you want to wait 6 months or a year. Maybe once they're in first grade, I don't know. But everything happens in your own timing. And I think that jumping in head first before realizing all of the things that come with it may feel overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking as you were saying that, no matter what kind of business it is, if you start something, if you own something, there's always going to be sales involved.
Yeah.
Whether that is referral, actively selling, like whatever it is, and that's not for everyone.
No.
And
I was worried about that for me
yeah,
because I've never seen myself as a salesperson. I think what shifted for me was that I really stopped trying to sell what I do and instead sell who I am.
well, yeah, you are your business, and if someone wants to work with you,
Yeah.
it's because of you. Like,
Right. Not like, yes, I'm a great designer, but
right.
I don't go out and first thing say like, "Hi, I'm a graphic designer. Like, look at my work. Look what I did." Instead it's going out and meeting people and having them like me first.
It's the relationship building. It's not the
Yeah.
sales. And I think that's why you're so good at what you do. You've built relationships with the right people. You're willing to go out, and be social in the right situations. Like we've talked about, this is actually something I know we wanted to talk about. You're very good at prioritizing, and you're very good at saying no,
Yeah.
and you say yes to the right opportunities.
Yeah, if it's not a full body yes, it's a no.
And you have something coming up
I
that we should
do.
talk about related to that.
It's very exciting. It's not something I thought about. An opportunity presented itself to me back in the beginning of the year to be a co-author on a book. And I was on the phone with the woman who was pitching the idea to me. And she was talking and talking and talking. And I go, I have to cut you off. And she was like, or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I go, I honestly don't know why I wouldn't say yes to this.
Right.
There's no reason for me to say no. It's already a full body yes. So the next day I wrote to her and said, I'm just confirming that I'm in. And at the same moment that I hit send, I got an email from her that said, I'm so glad you're in.
Oh,
So we were writing our emails at the same time
that's
to
so
each other.
funny.
That's like, okay, this is the process. But it's really exciting. The book is a collaboration book. There's 21 women who wrote chapters in it. It's going to be amazing to read them all. I have not read I've only read one other person's chapter, so
Ooh, that's
I
exciting.
can't wait to read everybody's stories along with you guys. But my chapter is called Her Priority, and it's all about setting the one top priority and designing your life to support that.
Well, that's why it felt so apropos to talk about it just now when we did too, because it is about really knowing how and when to say yes and no and being
Yeah.
really confident in that.
And knowing that the right no's are going to open up the right yeses.
Yeah.
That saying no to something is saying yes to something else, even if you don't know what that yes is, even if that yes is yourself, that knowing that you could say no without knowing the yes, but it's opening space for the right thing.
Yeah, kind of like we're talking about with this episode. You might have that itch and logic is telling you, okay, this is not the right time to start something. But if you feel deep in your heart, deep in your soul that that is the time, then you just have to take one baby step at a time, keeping your priority in mind and know that it will work out how it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. Figure out your non negotiables too. I think this is something I talk about as well. That I figured out what I'm willing to maneuver and
Mhm.
what I'm not. So I'm not willing to mess with my mental health. This took a little while to learn because I would be at a lunch or at a networking event or somewhere, and I would start to feel like, okay, I shouldn't be here. I should be doing something else. All these shoulds start entering your brain. And I knew that it wasn't right, that it was a wrong yes.
Oh, interesting.
And it was messing with my mental health because I was feeling anxious. I felt like I shouldn't be there. I feel like I should be home. I should. And so I think for me, realizing initially, like, when I would look back at those events and when I agreed to it, like, deep down, I would know it wasn't right.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I listen to that intuition a little more, and if something comes up where it's like, "Oh, we have this thing," and immediately I kinda hesitate, it's probably not right.
Yeah.
And then you're not present for any of it. It's a lose-lose.
You've wasted your time.
And whoever I'm with.
Right.
If it messes with time with my kids, it's likely a no. You set up your priorities for like, here, these are my non-negotiables, and then here's some things I'm willing to budge on.
Yeah. And like you
Um,
said, it takes some saying yes to the wrong things to figure that out. It
yeah,
takes some trial and error.
yeah. But you learn. I mean, we're women. We have amazing
Yeah.
intuition. So trusting our gut, learning when to trust it and how to trust it will take you far.
I think that's what makes women such good business owners too. And I think that's why we're seeing a surge in women owned businesses,
Yeah.
primarily entrepreneurs, because we are very good at trusting our instincts. And you need to have that self confidence in that kind of a role.
Yeah. I think confidence plays a big part of it as well.
Hmm.
Somebody said this morning, and it's something at our networking thing we went to this morning, and it's something that I've thought about. Like, we've kind of pushed the feminism a little too
Yeah.
far in certain aspects where it's like, she can do it all, but it's like, yeah, we can. We're women. We're
Yes.
amazing. We can do whatever we want. Do we have to do it all?
Right. No one's expecting men to do everything. When they are at work, they're expected to work.
Yeah.
They're not expected to also be ordering grocery delivery, planning dinner, and doing
Or
laundry.
or when they're at work, they're also not expected to take the notes in the meeting, plan the secretary's
So
birthday,
true.
do all the extras in the office because, "Oh, you're so good at it."
Yeah. That's so real. That's really true.
Tim always says, "Don't be good at something you don't wanna do." Like,
Yeah.
never be too good at something you don't wanna do. And it's so true. It's like, well, maybe I don't wanna be the note taker in every meeting.
Right. Yeah.
But then when you speak up and say, "No, I'm not gonna do that," you come across as, like, not a team player
Yeah.
or, like, "Well, ask one of the men to do it."
That would happen to me a lot just by the fact that I was doing executive assisting or whatever kind of business support services I was providing. It would be assumed, well, you're really good at that. Well,
Right.
okay. But the other 12 people on this call are fully capable of that as well. And if they're
Yeah.
not, then I don't want to be on a call with them.
Right. Fair. It's interesting in my mastermind because the way we were doing it for so long was there were 2 facilitators and one would facilitate the meeting and the other would take notes. And recently it was decided that nobody was gonna be a note taker, take your own notes.
So true. I
Like
love that.
we are all capable. We don't need to
Yeah.
designate somebody as a note taker. Take
Yeah.
your own notes, glean from it what you will,
Yeah.
move on with your life.
I love that.
I know.
That just got me thinking about something we talked about recently where I said something about how on social media I save a lot of posts for later. And you said, do you ever go back and look at them? And I mean, I've thought about this a lot since, and there are times where I go back and reference things, but I think I would be just fine if I never saved anything ever again on social media. I think it would be okay.
Did you guys hear
Yeah.
that? Hold her to it.
Maybe that'll be my 2027 goal.
How much of it is actually making your life better and how
Right.
much of it is noise?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Clutter, noise. Well,
Yeah.
and that's exactly it because I was thinking I like to record things. I like to have that sort of like backup. But why? Like, how often do I go back and reference these things? And lately, I've been telling my daughter that if you don't remember something, or, she'll say, oh, I want to tell you something and I forgot what it was. Say, well, if it's really important, if you're supposed to remember, you will. And so I've kind of had to look inward and think, why don't I trust that?
Yeah.
Because there will be things where I will think, oh, I have to do this. I need to write it down, but won't. In the majority of cases, I just remember if it's important.
And it's funny because I think that you self-doubt yourself
Yeah, I do doubt myself.
on how good your memory actually is
Yeah.
because you will remember.
Yeah.
And if you don't, whatever. It probably didn't matter.
It's an interesting phenomenon too, because I think we should do an episode on that because I think that has a lot to do with women more than men feeling that they have to prove their worth, prove their value.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I kind of felt like I have to hold this information because that's
It's
my
your
worth. Yeah,
job.
exactly. Like that's my worth, that's my value, that's what I provide. So,
It's not.
something for us to talk about next season.
Yeah. That's going to be a very therapeutic episode, I think.
Yeah. So, to tie that up, that's really exciting. Your book is coming out
Yes.
August 31st.
August 31st. It's called Her Next Level. It's a collaboration book, 21 women. We all tell different stories. It's all about entrepreneurship, leveling up. And I hope you guys check it out. I hope you enjoy it.
Where is it going to be available for purchase?
Everywhere. So, Kindle, there's going to be a Kindle
Ooh.
version, an Amazon, like print version, and an Audible.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Who's going to do the Audible voice?
The publisher.
Oh, I love that.
Like somebody, somehow
they
the
hire
publisher.
someone.
Yeah.
That's
they're
so cool.
taking care of the Audible, which is great. And I love that that is an option.
Yeah.
Because some people prefer to listen.
Me.
Yeah. And I'm a Kindle person.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that it's available on Kindle for me is going to be great.
So we'll link to all that in the show notes too, because it's really exciting and we're really proud of Carly. And she also designed the cover in collaboration with an amazing artist.
Yeah, Basi Huntalis. And it was very fun. It was a long process of designing the cover, but it could lead to fun new avenues for me with cover design as well.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So not only should you check out the cover, but you should get the book. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it again in future episodes once I finally get to read the whole thing.
I know, me too.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
So you touched on this before, but sometimes it's not the right time to start something.
Yeah, you don't have to.
And we've been talking a lot about getting away from the shoulds in general, but you do have to try to release other people's expectations and just go with your gut.
Yeah. It's funny because you get hit with questions at different stages in your life, right? You start dating somebody. Well, when are you guys going to get married? And then, like at the wedding, oh, well, when are you guys going to have kids? Oh, well, when are you going to do this? When are you going to buy a house? Like so many expectations. And then when the kids go to school, oh, well, what are you going to do with all your spare time?
Yeah.
Which we talked about at the beginning, right? Spare time. I feel like it's important to know that you don't have to do
Anything different.
Yeah.
Anything differently at all, or you could do everything differently.
There's so much that's still to do. I'm sure that every mom has a crazy long to-do list, whether you're working in the home or working on the home or whatever kind of work you're doing all day, that sometimes it's best to just catch up,
Mhm.
really, because you probably are behind on a ton of things, or you feel like you're behind on a ton of things around the house. But spending a few months catching up is okay. And I have a friend who her son is also starting school in the fall, and she's been getting this question, "Oh my gosh," and she has 3 kids, and she's always been a stay-at-home mom with them.
Is this her youngest going to school?
Yeah. So now her youngest is going to school, and so she's starting to get hit with questions. "What are you gonna do with all your time? You're a really good baker. Maybe you could, sell what you bake and all this stuff." And she's like, "I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could do that, but again, turning the hobby into a business, I don't know." And instead, maybe it's better if she just does nothing for a little bit.
Yeah. Gives herself that white space, that
Yeah.
time to breathe, to see what's next for her.
Yeah.
Or I don't wanna say, like, nothing's next, but, like, nothing needs to change in that time either.
No. Things will happen when they're supposed to. And I think giving herself time to be
Mhm.
is okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Period.
So we came up with a couple questions for you that we'd like to get feedback on, and we'll share this on social media, but to get you thinking about it in the meantime, what would you do with 5 extra hours each week?
Yeah, not each day.
Not each day, each week.
Yeah.
And your answer could be, I would nap
Yeah,
an
I
hour a
would
day.
catch up on that show I've been wanting to watch that everybody's talking about.
I would walk.
Yeah.
I would catch up with a long distance friend. Like, I would spend 5 hours on a business plan. There's no right answer, but I think as we start thinking about these things, it's just good for us as humans.
Yeah. And then the other one is think about what you're building. So are you building a business? Are you building a life? Are you figuring out your priority? How does it align with what you're doing? And, it could mean journaling that or writing it out and, seeing where you're at 6 months from now and how have things shifted for you in the last 6 months with your kid being at school?
I've been doing a lot of yoga lately, and one of the things that I really love about it, because I have a hard time getting into a meditative state. In fact, I was just having this conversation with my brother where I said, I can't do the kind of meditation where you just stop thinking about something. I have to do the kind of meditation where you sort of drop in and gauge like how each part of your body is feeling. And that's what I've been seeing at yoga is it's not always about changing your breath and breathing the right way in these yoga classes. What they start with is just observe. Just observe what your breath is like. Just observe how your body feels. And I think we forget that step in life a lot,
Yeah.
that it's okay to just be and just observe and think about what's going on.
Yeah. Is this what you want your life to feel like, to be
Mhm.
like? And if it is, then you can just be.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then you have time to
Yeah.
make adjustments, to shift things, to improve places where you feel like you need improvement.
Yeah.
A positive is that sometimes for me, like the beginning of a school year feels almost like the beginning of the year
Yeah.
where you can set new intentions. Maybe you have a word for the school year. Maybe you have goals for the school year. And so for me, like this is another time of year where it's sort of like a refresh and a cleanse and you can start fresh.
I love that because the kids are getting new school supplies,
Yeah.
new clothes, new backpack. They're getting all this new stuff and you do it's not about the money you're spending on it. It's just about like the sentiment and what that brings, that freshness like you said.
Yeah.
I always think about it, it's kind of like my spring. Whereas people talk about spring cleaning, for me that's sort of what happens in the fall.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a really good way to look at it.
So,
So, we haven't done our regularly scheduled programming in a
Oh, yeah.
while, and I know that we were talking about a song recently that you liked. Do you wanna share that?
Oh my gosh, I love this song. Yes, I do. It's it feels right for this episode too, and it's called "Everything We Need" by Wilfred. He just says, "This feels like everything I need."
Oh,
And he kind of repeats it, but it was interesting. We were all in the car one day and it was loud and we were playing and this song came on and everybody got quiet and
I love
just
that.
kind of listened to it. And my husband said, I really like this song. In that moment, it was everything we needed. It was just like we were together, the song was on, and it did feel like a really nice moment for our
Mhm.
family. But it's such a beautiful song and I've been listening to it on repeat. So I hope you will too.
That just reminds me of, like, being content
Isn't that the goal?
at the end of the day to just be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, whatever you do in these next few months, if it makes you happy,
Can't be that bad, as Sheryl Crow says.
yeah. We're gonna end on that. Thank you, Cheryl Crow. Well, thanks for tuning in.
And in case no one's told you today,
You handled that perfectly.
bye.
Bye.